Our boys got a film room for you today. We're going to be taking a look at COBO versus Showtime. Now, this is going to be in the RHG $40,000 live event. Shout out to Oklahoma Esports 818, RHG, and Ugly John's Custom Boats for sponsoring this event. And a lot to talk about here. Going into this matchup, this is COBO versus Showtime, kind of two polar opposite players. COBO is going to be very calculated, very strategic in how he's going to play the game, and he's going to be very methodical. Showtime is super freestyle, going to play super loose. He's going to basically go no huddle every play. He's going to quick hike. He's going to do a lot of that, and so a lot to learn from this game. Now, both of these guys did make live events this year, I believe, and COBO was in a win and get in game to Madden Bowl or MCS playoffs this year with Big Tay, which we broke that ball game down. And in that, he was running, I believe, the same offense we're going to see him in this game. Showtime was pretty good. He's got a really good switch stick, or I don't know if it's necessarily good. It's unique. It's unique to him. It's a style of switch sticking that really does mess with some people. And so we'll be kind of interested to see how that goes, how that plays out. But Showtime's probably got one of the most aggressive switch sticks in the community, and just plays a very, I don't know, the word would be like loose, very free style of Madden. He's going to throw stuff. He's gonna force things. He's going to go to a huddle. He's going to push the tempo. And he's going to throw. He's going to throw stuff. So anyway, COBO is going to be double mug, which we really don't see this defense being ran a ton at the top levels, but he is going to be in this. And essentially, this defense here gives you what I like about this defense is there's a lot to like about double mug, and one of the things to like about it is the ability to send a lot of pressure and basically send really good sheds. If you send four like this, you're going to get really, really nice sheds out of this. At the beginning of the year, there was a really cool little disengage with a 4-man here. That's not really that good anymore. The main thing is if you send four like this and you drop out, and let's say they send five out, a lot of times this defensive end can get pressure. Another element of the defense, though, and the way this is ran normally now, is you're normally going to user one of these linebackers, and you'll send five potentially. And the beauty of that is you get nice coverage shells, and if you send five, pretty much every time you're going to get pressure. So unless they block, and the pressure is also really quick. Here you're going to see COBO send 1, 2, and then he has these wide contains. Another thing that this defense does is it can keep the quarterback in the pocket pretty well, as you see here, and you get this nice interior push from the blitz angles. And so that's some of what you're seeing. So I actually like seeing double mug, and there you see he gets a nice shed and able to get a sack there. So a lot to learn and a lot to realize with double mug. What I love about double mug is just the aggressive look that it gives, and then a lot of the coverage things that you can do off of it are pretty good. But here, COBO gets a little adjusty and basically doesn't have a third. He switch sticks here, but he's late, and then he gets off of it. And this is one of the things I don't quite get that you see a lot with some of these guys. The way that COBO switch sticks, watch this real quick with me. You see here, he has a scissor adjustment, so he's manned this guy up to the running back, and he's manned this guy up here. So what I think COBO's trying to do is switch stick onto this guy and rob this crosser. But what happens is it just kind of messes up. So you see, if he stays here and just drives on this crosser, he's going to be fine. Like this is going to basically take everything away. Pretty much would take everything away. Notice here, he switch sticks here, and then he kind of fakes, like goes to it, and then gets off, and then goes back. Just kind of an inconsistent switch in terms of how this ends up playing out for COBO. And so Showtime able to hit a big hitter over the top, gets a nice rack animation, and he's going to get a touchdown early. And really just something that I feel like if you look back at the tape and you kind of just understand what's going on, kind of a missed, I don't know, just the play didn't work out for COBO. Wasn't able to switch it like he probably wanted to. And I think he actually was in a better position to stop that than you might have realized with the adjustments that he put on the field. And again, that blocked running back to handle the pressure. So now we're going to see COBO on the offensive side of the ball. One of the things that Showtime is going to do is a defense that's in a lot of ways very similar to Double Mug, and that is this 4-3 even, 6-1. This defense, if you look over the last couple of seasons, this defense has been one of the best defenses as the game has gone on. Madden 22, Madden 23, Madden 24, Madden 25. This defense towards the end of the year has consistently been one of the better ones. The reason being is because these linebackers, when they're 99 speed, this blitz comes in really fast. You're going to get those two linebackers. In this year's game, there is kind of a unique four-man where this guy can actually loop around this defensive end, or you can get kind of a loop right here as well, and you can run that on both sides. However, the weakness of this defense is, number one, these linebackers are so close to the line of scrimmage, they're going to have a hard time with bubble screens. And the other primary weakness is your user has to hit the line of scrimmage consistently when running this. So he has to hit this and then peel back into coverage, leaving kind of a lot of room in these little pockets of the field. So Showtime is going to be basing a lot of his defense around the switch stick. So kind of a lot to take a look at and a lot to learn from how he plays. And then COBO is going to be running bunch tight end. I believe he's in Seattle playbook. So you see here for Showtime, pretty much the cover 4 shell. It's a nice cross there and good scramble by COBO. And bring up a 2nd and 4. So with this bunch tight end, COBO is also going to audible around a lot. He kind of plays pretty unique offensively in this year's game. So he's gonna use the entire playbook and get to a lot of different things within it. His base formation being bunch tight end. Here for Showtime, another thing these guys can do is they can move. Let me show you real quick here. Let me back this up. They move these linebackers out. So as you see now, this is more of a dime. If you look at if you move these guys out a little bit, it becomes more of a dime defense. It's actually pretty easy to do that. So anyway, moves out here. Look at this combo from COBO. Get a little bubble screen, little running back Texas pattern, little double streaks, maybe a speed out there, and then a backside in route from the tight end. So kind of a unique combo you don't really see a lot. All right, now COBO running a little no huddle. Going to go down to the single back tight. This is a wide zone run. Probably the best under center run, especially from like a 22 or an 11 personnel. This tight flex wide zone is really good. And this is really where the game is won and lost here, inside about the 15-yard line. COBO's kind of getting down into that Madden red zone area. Nice spin there from Perry. Gets him to a 1st and goal, but this is really kind of worst case scenario for a 1st and goal. It's 1st and goal from the 10. So it's going to be hard for COBO to just run the ball in. He's going to have to pass here more than likely, especially against a 6-1 type of look. Here, Showtime is going to mix in a little send 6. And this is the whole thing, man. This is the whole thing with 6-1. If you take a look here at what just happened. So Showtime here is not running the engage, right? He's running the send 6. So he's going to send 6, guaranteeing his pressure if COBO sends 5 out. You see here, COBO sends 5 out basically and runs a pretty horizontal combo with a little flat, little zig, and a little dig. Really nice play. But again, just because he sent 6, one more than make a block, and the pressure is going to be really critical. So it's going to bring up a 2nd and goal situation. And kind of one of the interesting things to watch, especially when you get down here, is these sacks are so huge because of that sack now puts him in a 3rd and goal from the 5. You really can't call a run here. You pretty much have to pass. And this is not an advantageous position for COBO. You never want to have to pass inside the 5, which is pretty much what he has to do here. Can't really get to his RPO game, and then he throws that. So I want to break this interception down here. A nice pick 6 from Showtime, and a lot to really look at here. So again, a lot of this comes back to anticipation, but also reads. So COBO goes with a specific route concept here, where you have a flat, and then you have, so this is just a basic flat route. And then this is what appears to be a cloud flat, maybe a soft squat. I don't think it's a hard flat. And then you get an in route, you get a slant, and then backside, we're going to get a drag and a running back table. It's a nice little red zone play. COBO, if this was a cloud and this was a post, I think if this is a wheel, it's a touchdown. But I think COBO just thinks this guy's going to drift more back here, and he ends up getting pick six. So kind of a huge play in the game and a big stop for Showtime. All right, so we're going to get into COBO's second possession. So Showtime, I mean, you couldn't be more thrilled with how this game started. A mistake by COBO defensively, a mistake in the red zone, and now you have a 14-0 game as opposed to a 7-7 ball game, or even potentially, if he switch sticks and lurks that, even potentially more than that. So we're going to see what COBO is able to do here on his second drive. This is kind of you kind of need to score here. The fact that COBO does get ball at half is helpful. One of the things Showtime's doing is against these trip sets, going to a little bit. Another real advantage to 6-1, by the way, is the position of the safeties. They're in a pretty good spot, and you're going to see here just a quarter. You're going to get a middle third. You're going to get a half, and then you get an outside quarter. And what Showtime's going to be doing is he's going to be switch sticking here normally, or here, and then maybe underneath on his defender. So anyway, so you see here you get quarter, half, third, looks like a quarter here, and then we even get a little send 5 with Showtime. Again, a lot of the big chess match with 6-1 is how many are you going to send? Are you going to send 4, 5, or 6? And from COBO, we get streak, crosser, and then what looks like a little tight end playmaker. And COBO's going to scramble out of the pocket, dives, and fumbles, and that's really bad. I think he was trying to slide, got a weird animation, and caused him to dive for whatever reason. And that was a huge mistake. Can't do stuff like that. Really, it just comes down to beating yourself. And Showtime actually strategically, smartly goes to a base call. What's nice out of this bunch, I believe he's in Atlanta playbook, has Y curl, but it also has that nice halfback base. Showtime's going to call Y curl a ton. He really loves that play. Here he's going to go to this tight end wheel route on the right side, little crosser, kind of that same setup he threw the touchdown on, and going to scamper up, get about 10 yards, and then going to be down. Yeah, PH sheet divide wheels with the deep. It's got that nice wheel route from the outside for the tight end. And you'll see that come back into play here. Another base call. Loves this base here. It's one of the best shotgun runs in the game. Gun bunch, halfback base. Really, really nice little run play. He does have trips tight and flex. I don't know if he might be in the Raiders playbook. He might be in Raiders, actually. Gonna go with a little bubble screen here. And gonna get a couple yards. 3rd and 7. This is a big passing situation. This is kind of COBO's chance to hold to 3. And he's going to give that up. So wanted to just take a look here real quick at Y curl and why Y curl is such a good play. This is Showtime's favorite play. It's Y curl and literally just streak this guy and snap it. So what he's looking for here is the reason this is such a good play is it's one of the only plays in bunch that can really attack kind of this area on the solo side without having this receiver in here. So what we're seeing here is COBO's going to look, or Showtime's looking here first. But the other kind of dilemma that you put the defense in is, let's say we run like a cover 3 here on this left side. This little throw is going to get open in that little pocket. And then if you blitz, because again, he's isolating this guy. So for COBO, oftentimes he's going to blitz this guy. That puts this cover 3 in a lot of conflict. And this wheel route to the running back is really good as a quick throw if the flat is not out there. So we'll take a look at the coverage here from COBO. Big down, 3rd and 7. And you're going to see a send 4, right? The send 4 actually is kind of coming in here. Yeah, very close to coming in. But look what you get on this left side. You get like a what appears to be a cloud flat, and then you get a man up. So this flat is only going to get played by a hard flat. He's not going to play low enough, and so the throw goes to the running back. Really, really nice read from Showtime, and kind of attacks really, really well with that route. And I'm almost positive he's actually in the Raiders playbook. I thought he was in Falcons. I think White Curl is also in Falcons, though. It's in a couple books. Here's another setup of White Curl, kind of a more vertical setup, and going to hit the tight end. So another weakness of double mug. Another weakness, or where you kind of see it get exploited, is down here. When we take a look here at the play, you get this wheel route, kind of a verticals type setup here, right? All we're doing is we're streaking this guy. This guy's already on this route, and then we're going to wheel and motion out. But basically the read here is we know that this guy going to be blitzing the majority of the time, right? So the only player that can truly play this tight end, because you see how wide this safety is, if he's not in a middle third, which he's normally not, he's normally in a quarter or a half. If he's not in a middle third, and even if he is, it's hard for him to guard this off a snap. So what we're really looking at here is you're going to see COBO's user is going to be down here. So because his user hovers just a little bit because it's a send 5, he's blitzing here, right? And the blitz is going to come in. He's going to now bail back, but he's just a step behind. And look how fast Showtime throws that. Insta throws it. Good passing to the right. Almost gets picked, but not able to pick it. And he's able to get a touchdown. And that's a 21-0 deficit that COBO is going to have to make up. I do believe Showtime is in the Raiders book, which has the trips tight end flex motion wide post, which is one of the best plays, maybe the best play in Madden 25. All right, so here we get a little peek at Showtime's defense. Let's take a little look-see at kind of what he's doing here. And you're going to see, so this is one of his things. So why the deep half in this situation? Couple reasons. Number one, he's leaving this quarter flat on the field. So what that tells me is Showtime is probably running match coverage. Why would you run match coverage? Match coverage is going to do a really good job if there's a corner route over on this right side. On this left-hand side, this is like kind of the standard adjustment for a trips tight end type look. Because what you can do is, let's say this tight end runs a corner, the cloud will play it. Let's say the tight end runs a streak, the middle third will play it. Let's say the tight end, let's say the running back, let's say they get tight end flat, running back streak, the vert hook will play it. Let's say you get tight end underneath, and then you get like a crosser. Then what Showtime would do is he would switch stick here, and he would take the crosser. So this is like a pretty good standard coverage for any kind of formation where there is a tight end here as opposed to like a solo wide receiver. Okay, so this is a pretty standard coverage using match to the right to stop corner routes. Primary concerns of this coverage is you can get high load. So let's say you get a deep corner and a table, you would need to switch stick here to go play that. But, you know, it's at the end of the day a table route. Another thing that can kind of hurt you in this situation is streak, crosser, drag, maybe a little curl, something like that. But let's see what COBO goes with to attack this coverage. And indeed, pretty much just what I said, little in route, crosser. He's got a corner, and then he's got a clear out streak there. Okay. On the left side, he blocks. So we know that's dead. We know this is going to be open, and really this will be open, but it's a switch stickable route. So you're going to see here, and oh, by the way, just enough pressure. That's why pressure is so important defensively, because you have to be able to not only call the right plays, but you have to be able to hit those plays, while you're getting pressured. And COBO going to go with a flat pattern. Take a look at this. This is his this trio that he really likes. Here we're going to get a streak and a fade, a little flat. I think a running back Texas or a running back streak. Anyway, he just kind of Look at that hard flat, not getting out wide enough, able to take it and get upfield with Watson. Kind of spins into a hit stick, not ideal. But a good play from COBO nonetheless. Going to bring up a 3rd and 6. And this is pretty much a must score for COBO. In my opinion, you really... COBO's definitely not out of anything because he gets ball at half. It's such a significant thing. Here, Showtime goes with a Sin 6 man blitz. This is kind of how Showtime plays. Just gets so aggressive. And the weakness here is, again, you're going to see this route combo from COBO. Pretty standard. This is the nice trips bomb. This crosser. This has been a really good play for the last 3 years. And then you get the corner and you get a high-low. And so, again, this corner just whoops his man. Able to hit him. And then Greg Olsen gets upfield. And now we have another red zone position for COBO. So this is where you have to be able to score in Madden. And he's got the streak. He's going to hit the streak. And good read there. This is where Showtime kind of makes some mistakes. He's so aggressive with his switch stick. So if you take a look at his coverage, see if it shows it to us. Here it is going to show us the coverage. As you can see, he crossmans here. He scissors on this outside. I don't know what this quarter flat's supposed to play, but we got it on the field. We have a vert hook. There's no middle third here. So we're basically banking. He's running a corner route here to the right side. And then we have the user. So we see the ball snapped here. And look what Showtime's doing. He insta switches here to try to like bluff this tight end streak. And then he's going to let him go play that. I just felt like this was a really, really bad adjustment if you're not going to get him over here in position. In the situation, Showtime is getting super aggressive, and look at the score. It's 21-0. If he was just to play a basic coverage, he probably stops this. Instead, he switches. Now, this is actually kind of cool. He could have just switch sticked and drove on the route, which that probably would have stopped it. He doesn't. He gets aggressive, and he kind of gets over here. And the problem is he's in no man's land now. And when you're in no man's land, it's hard to recover. He can't recover fast enough. COBO hits it just in time. And you see how easy, not easy, but like just how much, if you're a half step late, how significant that can be within the switch stick world. And one of the things that I think is hard is when you play somebody like Showtime who switches so much, you, to a degree, have to kind of almost trust what you're seeing a little more than you might think, or trust your plays a little bit more. Because when you play somebody like Showtime, he'll every now and then just snap onto something and catch you. But normally, you might throw one pick, you're probably going to throw 7 touchdowns just because of the way, how aggressive he plays. And that's kind of been the thing about Showtime all year. He had one of the best plays, though, that I've ever seen in his live event game. I believe he was playing Abram, and it was one of the craziest switch sticks I've ever seen, where he like clicked and recovered on so many players. Little base call. So again, Showtime doesn't want to be, he wants to be on a hash. COBO's now going to shift over to 3-5 odd, which is another good defense. A lot to love about it. Look at that wheel route. It's actually fried. So again, one of the main adjustments that COBO is doing consistently to Showtime is this right here. He's going to scissor. So man's up here and then man's up here. And then on this right side, you're going to basically get a cover 3 with this yellow zone. Again, COBO gets switched onto this guy for some reason. I don't know what's going on with that. But he's able to get back and plays really good here. But this wheel route can cook, especially if you have a bigger body running back running it. That wheel route is going to cook that man coverage, and he gets a little bit of an overthrow, but was in position to get a big hit against that coverage. All right, so 3rd and 7. Kind of an opportunity for COBO to get back in the game here. If he gets a stop here, it really does shift things for him in his favor. Take a look at Showtime's combo. This is, again, one of the little tells. Showtime doesn't flip his bunch a ton, at least that I've seen. One of the things you have to anticipate is when you don't flip your bunch, this speed out kills man coverage. So again, he reads this adjustment. So now he's going to hit a speed out against that man coverage. It's his plan here. And we'll take a look at COBO's defense. So as you see again, you get the scissor, you get quarter, what looks like a cloud, and then kind of a man up, and you're going to send 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like this is a cross man onto the tight end, maybe? Oh, no. So this is a man up on the running back. Because the running back blocks, the game is coded that he's going to now cover the tight end. So that's a nice adjustment. This is probably a cloud, though. So if you take a look here, COBO kind of guesses right. He plays. I don't know what that adjustment is. I think that's actually a third just getting burned on the press, but he has this bracket. So that's kind of a dead throw. But look at Showtime. Just check it down, tight end drag, or little underneath check down to Johnny Wilson, most underrated player in Madden 25. The biggest wide receiver I've seen. And gets a big first down. Big first down. If he doesn't get that first down, he probably goes for it. But if he gets stopped there, definitely opens the door for COBO. So I'll get another base call. That base call right there, primarily for clock purposes. Showtime is trying to make sure that COBO does not get the ball with enough time to score before half, especially because he gets ball out of half. Again, notice not flipping his bunch, but take a look at what happens here. COBO is going to send pressure. So he's going to send 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He scissors here. And then it looks like he's basically going to user this and kind of let this play normal. So what was Showtime cooking? He was going to run a speed out. And we know that because this guy has inside leverage, he can't cover that speed out. So a good route by Showtime. He throws that speed out right as he's getting hit because it's the only throw, really. And he technically throws this early, but he just catches it with perfect stride and able to kind of get a big hitter against a pretty heavy pressure that COBO ends up running there. So we'll go 3-3-5 odd again. I'm going to go base. One of the things that is kind of interesting about how the way COBO plays defense is it's a lot of double mug. It's a lot of 3-5 odd. It's these kind of formations that really pack the line of scrimmage. When you look at this, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 potential blitzers. Whereas in dollar, it's pretty much you have this guy to worry about. So to me, 3-5 odd is, I actually think 3-5 odd is a really good defense just because it gives you such a blitz threat, especially in Madden, where this blitz gets home a lot more. Anyway, he's going to go with it here, send 5, and then take a look at the coverage. Looks like a mid-read, and then basically a cover 2 shell here on the outside, I think. Yeah, cover 2 here. Cover 2 here for sure. I think this is a quarter. I don't know what this is. I want to say it's a quarter. It looks like a third, and then kind of usering underneath here. Good pressure, and able to get a sack. That's why you love to blitz out of zone because of how powerful switch stick is. Cover 0 is kind of a hard coverage to run because it's hard to switch stick and man. Anywho. So here, big down. I talked about this play. This is PA. I think it's called PA Cheat Divide Wheels. It's in the Raiders playbook, and it is in Gun Bunch. But what's nice about this is you get this really exaggerated tight end wheel, kind of like a double post wheel. And then you get kind of a unique post here. You get play action blocking out of it. So it's got a lot of good things within it. And take a look at this route combo from Showtime here. He has this seam streak, and then he's not on the right hash, but he's close enough to the right side that this seam streak could pull like a third. If this is like an outside third, this could pull this. And so it'll kind of, this wheel, because you have a clear out streak, you can kind of throw it over here if they're just in a basic cover 3, which is what COBO's been doing a lot on the right side. Comes in motion, and now we're going to get 2 seam streaks. So it's basically the read here, what you see right now. So you're going to say, okay, I'm going to look at that, which are both probably dead, but they're going to clear that out so that the user has to guard that route. Now, COBO is blitzing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So because he's got 6, he's only got 5 in the coverage, and this appears to be cover 4. See how this guy's kind of popping more into that vertical route, and then this is a little cloud over here for like a corner route or something. Anyway, so as you see this play develop, you see there's no flat defender over here, and the user knows, well, I'm kind of pinned because I can't do that. I got to kind of hang here because the in route. So COBO kind of gets stuck in the middle of the field, as you see, and this ball goes right here. Perfect pass, and really a nice play by Showtime. Trucks upfield and gets a big first down. Situation where he might have been forced to kick a field goal. Now he's got a potential for a touchdown, and again, he's also going to be able to take more clock from COBO, which limits his chance to be able to score before half, which is kind of key for COBO's comeback. So that's why we saw another base call there. COBO able to handle the run, kind of probably, if I'm COBO, you're pretty much selling out. You're really selling out for the run here. This RPO bubble, nice little play. Just a really nice play in the Raiders playbook. It's a good audible. And now we've kind of got COBO where Showtime wants him. No timeouts. Clock's ticking. At this point, this is probably, at this point, the last drive. And COBO is primarily focusing now on trying to hold Showtime to a field goal. Showtime is kind of interestingly going to take this all the way down to 10 seconds. So the reason he takes this down to 10 seconds is he believes his best chance to score is by passing the ball right here. So he's going to give himself one passing play, and then he's going to kick a field goal if he's not able to get it. He decides to go to cheat post. And this was that idea that I was talking about with what, if you remember, COBO threw the interception. You see that, look at what Showtime does. He wheels this guy upfield. So you see how that's going to pull not just the flat, but it also pulls this third to him as well because of that pattern. And so now you kind of get this meshing over the middle. Nice playmaker from Showtime. He's got the tight end there. He also has a potential scramble threat. The reason these two, look at these two defenders, because they followed the wheel because of the adjustments COBO put out, probably a curl flat. He's going to try to scramble it in with Bo. Almost gets the job done. Ends up not being able to get it done, but was a really nice play design. And now we're going to be kicking a field goal and going into probably the second half. COBO is going to get a chance to return a kick. So we'll take a look at what that's going to look like. And then COBO will be getting the ball at halftime. So all in all, can't ask for our first half to go much better than that. COBO got a crazy fumble, threw a pick six on his first possession after driving the length of the field. So really this game, if you think about it, it just kind of primarily comes down to COBO not able to capitalize in the red zone on his first drive, and then kind of I don't know if I necessarily even call it fluky, because normally if you tap the button, they slide. I think COBO was trying to do that, and I think he ends up accidentally holding it, and then he doesn't end up sliding. So that is going to be the first half, and we'll catch you in the second half. All right, so here we go. First possession for COBO in the second half. And here, Showtime's going to go basic cover 4. So in Showtime's mind, this game is a 17-point deficit, 3 possessions, but they are 5-minute quarters. So there's still plenty of time for COBO to get back in the game, especially if he scores fast here. He's going to need to score and get a stop. So here we go. Kind of a send 4 from Showtime. Notice Showtime's not always engaging with the center. Sometimes he immediately bails out as well. Anywho, we're going to get kind of your standard slant kind of dig, and then you're going to get on this right side a post wheel from COBO, which could potentially pop cover 4. We'll see what happens here. See how Showtime switch sticks here onto the tight end in route, which is probably something COBO anticipates. Take a look at this wheel. This wheel is going to do a good job of pulling this outside quarter, and it leaves this kind of hole shot, which COBO is going to hit here in perfect stride and be able to get a touchdown. It's actually a really nice call from COBO. I want to really take a look at this again and just show you. This is a pretty standard route combo from trips. But what most people normally do is this is normally just a streak and a flat, or it's a streak and a post, or a flat and a post. If this is a flat post, The deep blue doesn't have to respect that flat. So because of that, this deep blue could could potentially bite on this post a little better. But because of that, what you see here is Showtime honestly should have switched it maybe to here instead of here, but it is what it is. He switched sticks onto the tight end post. So as you see here, see it. If he switch sticks here, he probably bags the play. But because he doesn't, he switch sticks to the right, which again, if you think about it, just strategically, where's the formational strength? You got three receivers to the right side of the field. Why would I not switch stick here? Right? It just kind of whatever. And maybe he would have been a little bit too late if he had done that, but that obviously left this door open. And look how aggressively Showtime switch sticks. He bites down a lot. As you see, he notices he's getting pressured. And COBO just hits it. Like under pressure, perfect timing. And hits big Johnny Wilson, the biggest receiver in Madden, most underrated receiver in Madden, for a touchdown over the top. And that's exactly what COBO needed to do. Pretty much like the first play, able to hit it. And yeah. All right, so here we go. 1st and 10, 3-5 odd again. Gonna go base. Little spin move, 4 yards. And let's see here from Showtime what he's gonna end up going with. I'll go with that. Back to that. There's that wheel play again. Nice little drag underneath. Good playmaker from COBO or from Showtime, and kind of hits a tight window with it. Again, notice Showtime, even though he's up 2 possessions, even though he's really kind of dominating the game, he's going to still play fast. He's going to still play up tempo. Kind of throws across his body, but able to hit that. And he's doing a pretty good job just kind of working out of this bunch. Not really a ton crazy. Pretty much first down, majority of us, and this might be Showtime's mechanism for clocking, which is calling base every first down. He calls base a lot. He loves that spin from Big Perry. Fridge. 10 carries, 50 yards. He does have chew clock on. He's kind of like trying to, as you see here, just kind of trying to take as much time as possible. He's going to go to the base again. And COBO at this point, this is kind of honestly not a terrible position for COBO, because if you can even just hold him to 3 here, you kind of put yourself in a position where you can put a lot more pressure on him. All right, so here we go. Big pass play from Showtime. I actually love these combos. I will say, he throws a pick, but this is actually a really good play. So block the running back here on this right side, and you're going to see that's going to do a really good job, because in this formation, you got to really worry about that linebacker. But basically, we get streak. Showtime loves the wheels, so he let wheel there, little backside drag, and essentially you're just going to high-low the user. If the user goes here, you're going to look to throw here. If the user stays flat, you're going to look to throw the post. Pretty much. And so you see here, he's here. Look at that user down. And this is a really good switch stick from COBO. COBO actually switch sticks onto this flat defender, and watch him immediately bite. What you probably really realistically is you'd want him to switch here or here, but he doesn't. He stays down, and he switches super hard, able to bite on that route. COBO or Showtime gets kind of a bad throw. What I assume happened is he tried to kind of change the trajectory of the ball once he noticed that COBO had switch sticked onto the slot corner, and it caused kind of just an awkward pass. Because of that, COBO able to get the stop that he really needed, and now he's basically back in the game. I mean, if COBO goes down and scores here, makes this a 24-21 ball game, and it's really in a good spot. So take a look at his combos here. Goes with a 30-yard out route to the slot corner on PA verticals. That's a decision. I think primarily because he knows Showtime is running a lot of match coverage, and those deep out routes are hard to cover and match because you get a nice clear out. And here we see kind of a basic trips shell from Showtime. We have a cloud, or say this deep half. I don't know why the purpose of deep halving versus deep quartering. I feel like the quarter plays a lot more for you. But anyway, he is going to send only 3, I believe. So he goes a little more of a coverage look. And going to complete that. I think he was also offsides. One of the big limitations with these engaged defenses is there is a tendency to go offsides if you're, because you're trying to get in position to hit the line. You see here. And Showtime really hardly ever hits the line. Nice little cover. It's pretty much his base. He's pretty much been in the same shell against Bunch, tight end. Let's see if he shows it to us here. Show me the show. And yeah, this is pretty much his base adjustments for Bunch tight end. We talked a little bit about why this coverage is good. This is a match coverage. And again, he's not even hitting the line. This is just slant left, getting this getting that D end or DT to loop around. And you see here we get coverage. It's kind of a potential match beater from COBO. Great. So you see Showtime recognizes that. So he tops it. And then the big key with this is that you need to switch here and then top this route as well. So we'll see if he does that, because that's the throw. This is a touchdown, but it's kind of a tight throw. You see he does, and now he's driving on it well. And I think COBO is probably throwing the ball to him, but doesn't get it off, and that's going to bring up a 4th and 6. All right, so here we're going to go trips. Going to put his user in a mid-read. This is probably for the post route. And COBO hits him with a little running back wheel route on the right side. Just didn't have the coverage out there for it. And COBO able to instantly hit it real easy, make the game simple. One of the things I love about the way COBO plays the game is he is so strategic. He throws open stuff for the most part. And you see there, this time, again, kind of same deal. I don't know if this was a tight end post. Kind of ran like it. But a nice little route from the trio. And again, I'm pretty sure COBO is in... Pretty sure that COBO is in the Seattle book. There's that bubble. Good switch stick defense. That's a pick. That's just bad. So there's a saying in the real NFL, and it's true here as well. So if you take a look at this real quick, so this is a bubble. So it's going to slowly kind of bubble out, and then it's going to kind of turn up field and become almost like that. The reason this is good is because if you don't have a flat zone, you can throw the bubble, you can kind of catch it in stride and have a lot more space to be able to run. But if you take a look at what happens here, you get a send 3, you get a kind of like a curl flat almost zone, and this bubble can't run once you throw this. So as you see here, he's going to throw late in the flat. If he threw this bubble early, he completes it, but he's trying to make these throws over the middle of the field. And because of that, this bubble goes upfield, to like 10-ish yards, which is right where that curl flat plays. And as you see, it's not just a pick in COBO fashion this game, it's a pick 6. And, it's a fumble and 2 pick sixes, really the difference in the game. And it was almost the same area of the field for COBO, kind of similar. And you just can't throw late in the flat like that. He's got to hit that a little bit earlier. And that curl flat kind of looked a little weird. It almost looked like that was going to be maybe a match from that curl flat, but it ends up not. And I think that's because of the formation COBO was in. So it's just not a great play. And it was open, but just kind of hit not at the right time. And he's in a formation that he was in, I believe, trio weak, where you don't even have the ability to match. So, it's going to be spot drop zone when you're in a quads formation like that. There's another touchdown. He is going to throw this. It's a nice throw. So real quick, this is something with defense this year. This is why you pretty much have to have inside quarters. When you don't have inside quarters, it really limits things. So if you take a look here, you see how this safety's deep, this safety's not. This safety's off the ball at 9-ish yards. what you're going to see is, remember, we showed you the adjustments. It's been middle third, deep quarter, deep half, and then outside quarter. So the deep half is kind of fanning out. And so what you're going to see is this deep half is kind of fanning out. It's going to get pulled by this route right here. So it's going to leave that hole shot because the middle third is not, see how it kind of freezes? And I don't know if that's a quarter, but I'm almost positive that's a middle third. Just kind of the way it's slowly, because you have this crosser. And so the middle third is going to play the crosser. So as you see here, if you look right there, he is turning, but he's kind of slow to get there. And there's just this nice little pocket that COBO is able to hit over the top of the defender for a huge play. And again, you know, COBO in the second half, we've seen 2 big one-play touchdowns. And that comes back to his ability to scheme guys open, to know kind of some of these little things that he knows. But ultimately, you can't throw late in the flat. You know, you can't throw late in the flat like that. And it's really those 2 red zone interceptions that have kind of been the story of the game. So 21-31, Showtime opportunity to close the game. Showtime was 7 here. If he gets 7 on this drive, game is pretty much in hand. Let's see what he ends up doing. Probably a base call here on first down. You know it's going to be a run. You should know if it's going to be base or inside zone. It is going to be base again. And notice how he's been able to pop base. Plays that looks like base is bagged. He pops it, and he's able to stay and bounce there. And he's going to take that to the 4th. That's perfect for Showtime. I mean, you run the ball and you get yourself right into scoring position. Kind of a nice little deal. So here he is. Short side bunch. Again, you see most people when they run bunch, they're going to flip it. But Showtime, I don't think I've seen him flip it a single time. Here we're going to go with a cheat motion inside zone. Kind of changed it up a little bit. Almost able to get a free touchdown. Now you got to score, but the benefit of being able to score in this situation is he does have the ball at the 2-yard line. So if I'm Showtime, you should be snapping this ball with 0 seconds on the clock. It should be 3 runs because you're going to get so much clock off. And then a field goal, to me, if you don't score, I don't think he should put this ball in the air. And he is going to change his camera view. Going to go to the Henry, change the camera view and try to run the ball. And again, perfect from Showtime here. I mean, you're seeing chew clock. He's even changed his camera that's going to try to help him see the run lane a little bit better. Don't love that he's snapping at 5 seconds. He is able to fall in the end zone and get kind of a free touchdown. And this is, you know, this kind of seals it. We'll see what COBO's able to do. But because of, you know, these runs, really didn't have to put the ball in the air at all that drive. And, you know, was able to basically get back on top by 17. You know, but really the difference in this game, 14 points off of, I think 21 points off turnovers, but 14 points off just pick sixes, 2 pick sixes and a fumble by the quarterback. You know, kind of 3 key mistakes in terms of the game. Showtime did throw that interception to COBO, but then again, him throwing that pick 6 on that next possession was really the killer. That pick 6 was so big, just throwing late in the flat like that. COBO going to go back to that same match bomb. Now, real quick, I want you to see this. Notice what Showtime does. So COBO goes back to the same match bomb that he just ran. And notice here, you're going to see inside quarter. That inside quarter will never get burned by a streak, as you see. And this one as well, they're able to play properly. That's why inside quarters are such a good zone in this game, especially if you hot route them. If you come out in like a cover 2 and you hot route 2 inside quarters, they're really good for that. The vulnerability is if you're trying to play a cloud concept. You see here, inside quarter on that right side. And he's also canceling the match. He's not having any match principle. And kind of playing that bend but don't break cover 4. COBO's trying to get over the top instantly, not able to do it. And I'm really a big believer in this game. If you get sacked, it really does mess things up, man. Like when you get into like a 2nd and 20, real easy to play defense in that situation. Here, able to playmaker something, but not really able to get it done. Not able to get it there. And we're going to see a 4th and 29 scenario. Showtime just going to drop everybody back, get the sheds here. I don't think he's going to send 6. And he is going to send 6. So he's going to send 6, force kind of a quicker pass. Nice little Texas route, and Showtime going to try to tackle him. Able to make the tackle, and that's basically going to do it. I don't really know if they're going to, are they going to play it out? They are. Showtime just going to run the ball. This is basically 3 runs and a kick. No way he puts the ball in the air here. And he is going to get this under 230. And then he's going to clock it. So a lot to be learned in this game. Kind of surprised how quickly COBO got out of mug. Did get a stop in odd, but kind of similar. 6-1 odd mug. Kind of put a lot of bodies at that line of scrimmage, be able to send a lot of pressure. But ultimately, really this game is not as much of an indictment on COBO's defense as it is on his offense. He was not able to. He just threw 2 pick sixes. At the end of the day, 2 pick sixes. It's hard to come back from that in any Madden game. And he almost did. Almost was able to get it done. But Showtime going to run this all the way down. Kind of surprised me that Showtime's not taking it all. He is going to take it all here. But now going to get up to 41 points on COBO. And COBO got a $120 left in his Madden 25 season. We'll see what he's gonna put up on tape here in his last 90 seconds. But COBO all in all had a pretty good year. Really was on the cusp of having a great year. He had a good to great year. And some of the things that he's doing offensively, really nobody's doing. A lot of audible around, more so than you would see normally. And really COBO kind of lived in this bunch tight end for most of this game. And you could see those interceptions that he threw were not even in bunch tight end, I believe, and they were primarily due to him throwing late in the flat twice. He threw late in the flat twice in this game, kind of paid the price both times, and it does appear like he is just going to run this clock out, and he's going to close out his season with a GG. So shout out to Maze, Henry, RHG for putting this event on. I'll leave a link to the channels in the description. Thanks for watching the game. Hopefully you learned something. A lot to take away from both of these players and the way they see the game and some of the things that they were doing. And don't throw late in the flat, boys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.